back, Clam Fam. I got an awesome little quick technique lesson for you today, and I want to talk all about vibrato. Vibrato is this really awesome, iconic thing that we get to do on the guitar as guitar players, and it really helps make a melody or a note that you play really sing as if we were playing the guitar as a singer. And I think this is a technique that you should definitely focus some time into your regular practice, and I want to break some different concepts down as far as helping you to develop your vibrato. Alright, so let's break this idea down. There are like 3 different schools of thought when it comes to vibrato, and I want to break these different concepts down because depending on what kind of player you are, you might find that something is more comfortable to you, that you arrive to a different way of how to play vibrato. And I want to talk about 3 main kind of types of vibratos and have you kind of discover what works best for you. Now, the first type of vibrato that we consider is what we call classical vibrato, usually used on nylon string guitars and classical music, which if you haven't seen me use vibrato on my classical pieces, you should definitely check out some of my videos that I've done with the classical guitar, because I play a lot of classical guitar. And the idea really here is, let's just pick a note here. I'm on the 10th fret of the B string, an A note. The idea with the classical vibrato is to actually pivot your finger back and forth like this. So you're doing this swaying motion. And it really doesn't matter which finger you use, depending on the piece of music. You might use your 4th finger, your 3rd, your 2nd, or your 1st. But really the idea is to pivot the string back and forth. You kind of use you'll see this a lot in violin players. Just like classical guitar, violin players use this type of vibrato too. It's this quick swivel motion like this. So you're actually moving your whole wrist back and forth like this. It's hard to hear on an electric string guitar because again it's more used on nylon string guitars, and the effect is a lot more audible on a nylon string guitar. But that is what we call the classical vibrato. Now there is this technique which is most custom to me that I play a lot when I play electric guitar, is like the B.B. King style vibrato, and it's where you're actually pulling the string down on a pivot like this. So what I'm actually doing here is I have my thumb over the neck here, which is what I would consider my anchor, and I'm actually pivoting my fingers at an angle like this and dragging that string up and down. Not so much like a bend, because we don't want to hear this note. We don't want to, that would be a really wide vibrato. And it's applicable to any single fingers too. And I really like this because I feel like this, I get the most control. And to me it's the most subtle, I guess. Depending on how quickly or slowly you do it, you can really make the note sing. So if I'm trying to do it, like let me say I have some distortion on. If I move my fingers really quickly, I can really get that note to sing. But if I'm doing it real nice and slow, it's really cool. And this is applicable on any single string set too. So like if I'm on the 1st E string or the high E string, on this A note, this is the same note, just different position. What I'm doing here is, because I can't actually pull down and up, I have to push up. Now that again is always noticing that my thumb is really kind of playing a vital role in this, because it's going to be my anchor. No matter what string I may do it on, or what finger, my thumb is always going to be in that position. So let's say we pick another A note. So 7th fret of the D string. My thumb is still there. Now I have these other fingers anchored behind it though, to help guide the process. If I want to do it wider. Nice and slow, fast. You know, just depending on what kind of effect you may be going for. Now, the last vibrato that it's not very comfortable for me, but I've seen people do it, like Eric Clapton is a big proprietor of this type of vibrato, is this whole arm vibrato, where it's like your thumb's not even planted and you're doing this motion with your hands. So like, let me say if I pick this note. So my thumb's not even actually hitting the neck. It's actually completely off the back of the neck. And you do that. To me, that's just not comfortable because I find that my hand is just gonna flail around and flop away. But that is another technique. So the same type of principles apply where you're going up and down with the string, but now my thumb's not actually planted. So with this technique, you're doing a side-to-side motion. With the Clapton's technique, the whole arm vibrato, it's more up and down and your hands aren't actually on the fretboard. And I just don't like that because I feel like I don't have as much control as if I did have my finger. A good way to practice your vibrato is by using what we call the spider exercise and applying vibrato to every single string. So this is a warm-up that I actually do pretty regularly when I'm playing electric guitar. And what I'm doing here is, you know the spider exercise where you go... You get the idea, right? So what you want to do is you want to apply your vibrato to that. So if I'm doing that whole exercise up in the 5th position, and it sounds a little bit cooler if you have like distortion, maybe. Let's see. Let's see here if I can get this. And you can make an exercise out of it and just have that practice, right? And it doesn't matter what position you do it. I would experiment with every single position you do it on the 1st fret. It's gonna be a little bit harder. But this is gonna help you with your vibrato technique. So that way, when you're starting to play musical phrases and ideas, your vibrato is a statement that really kind of lends itself to playing musically and playing expressive. A lot of the times we think of guys that have really, really good vibrato, which is like Eric Clapton, John Mayer, B.B. King. I'm a big fan of B.B. King and John Mayer's vibrato because it's just so subtle and so nice. I would say that I definitely lean towards the B.B. King aspect of vibrato. I mean, and B.B. King's vibrato is just insanely good. But you want to practice this idea. And again, just play this in every different part of the neck. You know, play some lead line stuff. And add in vibrato. Give yourself a little jam. Just experiment with that. You can just do simple lines. Experiment with the different forms of vibrato. Play a game with yourself. Say, okay, I'm going to do one vibrato classical style, one B.B. King, and one Clapton. See if you can, which one you like the best. Classical, B.B. King, Clapton. And figure out, you know, be comfortable with using both. Alright y'all, that was the video. I hope you really liked the technique lesson. Let me know what else you'd like to see, and if this is the first time you've ever come across one of my channels, definitely make sure to check out all the other content that I have on there. I post new videos every single week, and I'll see you all in the next video.